Hello BookTube, I am Nadine, this is Widely Reading, and welcome. So today I am going to do the Beyond the Bookshelf tag, and it was originally created by Mike at Bibliophile Reads, and I was tagged by David at What is David Reading. So there are 8 questions to the tag, and basically asking booktubers what they do besides books. So let me start with number 1. What is something you enjoy outside of books that people might not know about? So my big thing outside of books is dogs. And that's why I always get presents like this from people. And not a total surprise to people who've been to my channel because I have 2 dogs and they both make appearances sometimes. Ozzy is the big one, and he'll stick his nose in and look at the camera and try and figure out what I'm doing and realize it has nothing to do with food, and he leaves. And then you'll see Sasha, our little dog, and she is a busy, busy girl. You will see her kind of walking back and forth behind me often, but she will not poke her nose in because she has no time for this kind of nonsense. She is busy alerting us to any sound, anything that's going on. So, but that is not all that I do with dogs. I've also been in dog rescue for many, many years, and when I lived in Athens, Georgia, I was a part of a rescue group called Athens Canine Rescue. We were a network of foster homes, and I also worked with Athens Pets, and we publicized dogs that were in the Athens Animal Control through videos and website and all kinds of stuff. And it really helped increase the adoption rate and decrease the euthanasia rate because before we started it was pretty high. And then I moved here, which is the East Bay of San Francisco in the US, and here we fostered puppies for an organization called the Milo Foundation. And we did that for maybe a couple of years, I think, but we've had lots of litters. They'd be between like 7, we'd get them when they were about 7 weeks old, 8 weeks old, and we generally, puppies move pretty quickly, but I'd say within a month maybe all the puppies would be adopted, and it was really fun to sort through the applications and meet people and match them up with the right puppies, and it was really fun to have a lot of puppies around the house. It was also a whole lot of work, and we have stopped doing that because if you haven't heard or noticed, my country is like it's a shitstorm, I'll just say that. And so things are tough here in a number of ways, financially especially, because this area is expensive to live in, especially if you haven't lived here for a long time. And so we do people stuff, mostly around food insecurity, and so we participate in something called the Community Fridges Project, which is there are refrigerators around town. Usually they need an electric outlet, so it's usually near a business, but it's out in the street and filled with food, just free food available. And so we work on keeping those fridges stocked. We also volunteer at the food bank, and so that's taken up our volunteering. But I do really want to get back to the dogs. All right. Next question. What is one small thing that brings you happiness in everyday life? And so every day we go to Point Isabel, which is informally known as the dog park, although it's a multi-use park, 40 acres, but dogs are allowed off leash. It's not fenced in or anything, but dogs can be off leash. 40 acres, lots of room for them to run and play and walk, and it's great for people too, that you just kind of meet a whole little tribe of people with dogs. And so I think I'll be able to find some pictures of Sasha and Ozzy playing there. and maybe some pictures of the park. It's really nice. It's right on the shore. It has views of Golden Gate Bridge and the San Francisco skyline, and beautiful at sunset. So that's a small thing that brings me happiness. What is something you could talk about for hours besides books? Well, I believe I've demonstrated my answer for that. On to the next question. What is a skill or hobby you would love to learn someday? Well, I would like to go back to two that I have kind of slacked off on. One is learning Spanish, so I don't speak like a drunk 2-year-old. And the other is the fiddle. And when I lived in Georgia, I took up the fiddle because around town where I lived, there were a lot of small towns, and there would be festivals and special this day and that day, and musicians would often gather together just informally, string band basically. So it would be like fiddles and guitars and banjos and stuff, and just play old-time music. And old-time music is kind of a simplified version of bluegrass. And I apologize if I didn't get that quite right, but it was something that I could learn by ear, and you could just join in whenever there was any kind of event, and musicians just sat around in a circle and we all just played. And I was still an advanced beginner at best, but the songs were pretty simple. The problem is they play them really fast. And so I could, get a few notes in and then get a few more in, a little here, a little there, but it was really fun, and everybody was really nice and welcoming, and the idea was just to make music, not to sound fantastic, although they were some really great players. Let's see. What is one thing you think everybody should experience at least once? So I think everybody should experience a relationship with a non-human animal. Just to have a bond, any kind of animal, is just such a special thing to bond and know that you're theirs and they're yours. And it's not even dogs only or cats. And by the way, I love cats. I'm a dog person because my better half is allergic to cats, but I had cats for a long time. And what I did was I would get pairs of cats. So I would get siblings, and then maybe 4 years later I would get another pair of siblings. So I was never without a cat, even when they aged into Never Never Land. So where was I? So that's a lovely thing. Oh, and I saw an article in the New York Times the other day, and I think I'll put up some pictures. I think I can find them from the article about primates, that it is a thing for primates to have pets, for primates to have tender feelings, friendships with other animals. And so in that article there was a picture of a bunch of macaws just kind of petting a dog in Thailand. And then there was another one where I'm not sure what kind of primate, but it was with a gray squirrel. So it just comes natural to all of us, so no wonder it feels so good. Next question. What is a movie or show you can rewatch anytime? This is not a dog thing. This is Singing in the Rain. And this is just a happy, fun movie, music, fantastic dancing. And I challenge anybody to feel sad if you are watching Donald O'Connor do the Make 'Em Laugh song and dance. Incredible dancer, absolutely incredible, acrobatic. He's like a mime too. He's fantastic. So that's my recommendation. What is a non-alcoholic drink that you would suggest anyone to try? And I'm going to go back to dogs for this one. So if you've heard of the Salty Dog, which is an alcoholic drink with gin or vodka and grapefruit juice, there is something called, time out, future me. My camera did a little burp when I was talking about the drink and just cut off as I was saying the name of it. So the name is the Salty Puppy. This is not terribly important, but you know, consistency. Back to the video. And it is the same thing but without the alcohol. So it's just grapefruit juice, a little bit of lime, and then you coat the rim of the glass with sugar and salt. Recommended. And last one, what is your perfect lazy day? So that is not doing anything I don't have to do, and I would go on a hike, or I do. I go on a hike with my dogs to a favorite spot, kind of a redwood grove, and I sit and read there all day long. Okay, I think so. The last thing I have is to tag other booktubers. So I'm going to tag Abby at Abby Reads and Redhead Reading, and that is Sophie at Redhead Reading. And so thank you for being here. Consider yourself tagged if you have a channel. And if you don't, you're still a part of BookTube, of course. And so, you know, you can leave some comments with me, or leave comments with anyone else who's done this tag. And I think that's it for me. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking out to the end. And I think in editing I will be able to post a whole bunch of pictures, I hope. And otherwise, take care, be good, be kind, be well, and I will see you soon.